Absorption of digested product. Absorption is basically the process by which complex food compounds are broken down into simpler compounds and then are absorbed by the intestinal mucosa. Here we are saying intestinal mucosa because we are basically particularly here referencing or talking about intestine. Although absorption does occur in other parts of the body also or other parts of alimentary canal also, but the major portion of absorption occurs in intestine. So that's why during this discussion we will be taking intestine as an example. So here the intestinal mucosa absorbs the nutrients or the simpler compounds and pass them into blood or lymph. This process is either passive. This process in which the food is absorbed and passed on to the blood can be passive, active or facilitated. First of all, what is passive, active and facilitated? In simpler science term, if we can say, for example, we have two boxes. For example, we have two boxes of almost the same size, and we can see, for example, these are some molecules, random molecules. We can see the number of molecules in box A is more as compared to number of molecules in box B. So this means in the case of passive diffusion, the molecules will move from a higher concentration to lower concentration, that is from box A to box B. But in the case of active diffusion, the molecules will move from box B to box A, and this is known as active transportation. In passive transportation, we do not need any kind of energy and it is a natural process. Whereas in active transportation, it is not a natural process and we need energy. We need to give it energy so that the molecules can move against the gradient. Whereas in facilitated transport mechanism, it is just like passive, but in this case we need some kind of proteins which can help in transporting the molecules across the membrane. We need them because the molecules might be very large, which we are trying to transport. They may be charged or some other conditions may be there due to which we cannot transport them without the help of the protein. That's why we need protein, and this kind of transportation is known as facilitated. Facilitated means we need proteins to facilitate us, to help us transport the molecules, but the transportation of molecule is along the gradient. Small amount of monosaccharides like glucose. Glucose is a monosaccharide. Amino acids and other electrolytes like chloride ions are generally absorbed by simple diffusion, that is passive. The passage of these substances into the blood depends upon the concentration gradient, and they will move along the concentration gradient. However, some substances like glucose and amino acids are absorbed with the help of carrier protein. This mechanism is called the facilitated transport. Transport of water depends upon the osmotic gradient. So here what they want to say is that glucose and amino acids, they move along the gradient, but they need extra proteins or carrier proteins which can help them transport. Transport of water depends upon the osmotic gradient, and they move from higher osmotic pressure to lower osmotic pressure, or we can say they move from a region where there is a high concentration of water molecule to a region where there is a low concentration of water molecule. Active transport occurs against the concentration gradient and hence require energy. Various nutrients like amino acid, monosaccharides like glucose, electrolytes like sodium are absorbed into the blood by this mechanism. Fatty acids and glycerol, being insoluble, cannot be absorbed into the blood. They are first incorporated into small droplets called micelles, which move into the intestinal mucosa. So here they are saying that fatty acids or glycerol, they are insoluble, so they cannot pass through the membrane. So they cannot be absorbed and passed on to the blood, and they cannot be absorbed into the blood because blood won't be able to absorb a fat, glycerol. That's why we have to take another route in this case. They are first incorporated into small droplets. So fatty acids and glycerols are first converted into small droplets, and these droplets are known as micelles, which are then moved into the intestinal mucosa. They are then reformed in the intestinal mucosa. They are reformed into very small protein coated fat globules. Then they are converted, these micelles are converted into small fat globules or fat circles or balls of fat which are covered with protein. And this structure is known as chylomicron. This structure is called as chylomicron, which is transported into the lymph vessel lacteal in the villi. We have studied previously that we have the villi, and villi have lacteals in them. Lacteal is basically a lymph vessel which can be found in villi. So in this case, the chylomicrons are transported into the lymph vessel in the villi, and this lymph vessel is known as lacteal. These lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream, and then this lymph vessel will release the substances they have absorbed, that is the chylomicrons, into the bloodstream. Absorption of substances take place in different parts of alimentary canal like mouth, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. However, maximum absorption occurs in the small intestine. The absorbed substances finally reach the tissue which utilize them for their activity. This process is called assimilation. Now there are two processes, absorption and assimilation. Absorption is the process by which food is absorbed by the intestinal mucosa and released into the blood. Whereas when the food is taken up by the tissues from blood, that process is known as assimilation. The digestive waste, now the waste that is left in the alimentary canal, yes, the food that is left in the alimentary canal does only have in the most they contain water. The major portion is water or waste. So the water is absorbed in the large intestine, but as for the waste, it is solidified into coherent feces in the rectum, initiates a neural reflex causing an urge or desire for its removal. The ejection of feces to the outside through the anal opening is a voluntary process and is carried out by a mass peristaltic movement. So what is, first of all, peristalsis is a contraction relaxation movement, and this movement causes the defecation of the feces. The digestive